Did you know that some horses grow so tall, they make adult humans look like toddlers standing next to them? These aren't your average ponies or farm horses. These are real giants living skyscrapers with hooves. Their shoulders can reach over 7 feet, their heads towering even higher, and their hooves as big as dinner plates. But how tall can a horse really get? And which ones broke all the records? Today, we're counting down 15 of the tallest horses ever measured on Earth. And if you think you've seen tall horses before, just wait until you meet number 1 because this equine legend stands so high. People once mistook it for a small elephant. Let's start our journey into the world of towering stallions and colossal mares, where every step they take leaves an impression. Literally, these gentle giants weren't just born to be tall. Many of them were bred for power, for pulling, for parades, and in some cases, simply to impress. And once we begin climbing this list, you'll quickly see height isn't just a number, it's a presence, a force, a legacy written in inches. Our first horse on the list might not hold the crown, but it'll still make your jaw drop. Meet King Levi, a towering Belgian draft whose withers measured just over 18.2 hands. That's 6 feet and 2 inches at the shoulder without counting the head. That's taller than most NBA players. And yet King Levi was known for his calm, mellow temperament. Despite his size, he was often described as a gentle cloud of muscle, walking through fields as if he were weightless. His trainers used to say that brushing him felt like scaling a moving wall, because you had to stand on a ladder just to reach his back, and it only gets bigger from here. Next comes Dakota, a Percheron whose sheer size once caused traffic to stop near his stable in Minnesota, standing at a mind-boggling 18.3 hands. Dakota didn't just turn heads, he made people pull out their phones and stare. With hooves the size of frying pans and a chest broader than a refrigerator, he wasn't just tall, he was massive. Tourists used to ask if he was real, or if someone had sculpted him out of stone. And yet, every morning, Dakota would calmly stroll to his paddock, like it was just another day. For him, it was now. Imagine a horse so tall it needed custom-built stables just to walk inside without ducking. That was Goliath, a Clydesdale who measured a staggering 19.0 hands. That's over 6 feet and 4 inches at the withers taller than some small cars. Goliath wasn't just tall, he was photogenic. He was the star of local parades, weddings, and even a few movies. People who stood next to him often said it felt like being next to a mythical creature. But perhaps the most incredible thing about Goliath was how quietly he moved. You'd expect thunder, but instead, he walked with the grace of a cat in slow motion. A titan with the heart of a kitten. And then there was Moose. Yes, that's his real name. And once you saw him, the name made perfect sense. Moose was a Shire horse from Canada who broke local records by reaching 19.1 hands in height. But it wasn't just his height that stunned people, it was his neck. Long, proud, and arched like a violin scroll. It added even more height to his already towering frame. Moose had a mane that flowed like silk, and a stride that made the earth feel small. His owners said he was the kind of horse that made people forget their own height. Next to him, everyone felt like a child again. But if you thought 19.1 hands was the limit, think again. Zeus, another Shire gelding from the UK, pushed that record just a little further. With a recorded height of 19.2 hands, Zeus lived up to his name. His presence alone was enough to silence a room or a field. Even when he wasn't doing anything, he demanded attention. His caretakers said that when Zeus stepped into a show ring, every other horse seemed to shrink. His hooves made deep, clean prints in the ground, like stamps from another world. They say legends walk among us, and in Zeus's case, they walk on 4 legs. And just when you thought the names couldn't get any better, in came Big Jake, a name that became synonymous with horse-related world records. Big Jake was a Belgian gelding from Wisconsin, and he didn't just break records, he shattered them. Standing officially at 20.2 hands, Big Jake was the Guinness World Record holder for the tallest living horse. That's 6 feet 10 inches. At the shoulder, with his head raised, he towered over everyone, even most basketball players. But here's the twist. Jake was known for his gentleness. He loved children, posed for pictures, and calmly allowed visitors to pet his massive face. But make no mistake, when Jake walked, the world paid attention. His gait was slow, his steps deliberate, and each one reminded you that nature still makes giants. And he wasn't alone. Sampson, a legendary Shire horse born in the 1840s, still holds the all-time record for the tallest horse ever measured. Though no photographs exist, historical records state that Sampson stood at an unbelievable 21.2 hands. That's 7 feet, 2 inches at the shoulder. That's not a horse. That's a walking miracle. Sampson wasn't just tall. He was strong. It's said he weighed over 3,300 pounds, more than some compact cars. And yet, people who met him described him as calm, patient, even affectionate. He carried his size like a king wears a crown with dignity, not arrogance. Let's move to Radar, another Guinness record holder, who made headlines in the early 2000s, standing at 19.3 hands. Radar was also a Belgian gelding, and was once considered the tallest living horse before Big Jake dethroned him. But Radar had something else: speed. For such a huge horse, he could move like a dream. His handlers often said he looked like he was floating, and when he ran, people said it was like watching a mountain gain momentum. Next, we meet Dr. Laguerre, named after a famous veterinarian. This Percheron stallion reached an estimated 21 hands. In the early 1900s, though records from that time weren't always precise, what's consistent is the adal he inspired. People lined up just to see him. Farmers would travel for miles to witness his frame. He wasn't just a horse, he was an advertisement for power and grace. He pulled wagons like they were feathers and stood so high. His bridle had to be custom forged by blacksmiths, and then came Poe, a Shire gelding from Ontario. Poe stood 20.2 hands tall and weighed nearly 3,000 pounds. What made Poe famous wasn't just his size, it was his fan base. Poe went viral after photos of him standing next to average-sized horses circulated online. The contrast was so extreme, many thought the images were fake, but they weren't. Poe was real, and every inch of him was majestic. His eyes were soft, his movements careful, and his presence unforgettable. Visitors described meeting him as humbling, a reminder that nature still creates things we can't control. Standing right alongside Poe in terms of impressiveness was Remington, a Clydesdale with a fiery red coat and a personality to match. Remington stood at 20 hands, but what made him unforgettable was his charisma. He wasn't just tall, he was theatrical. He'd stomp the ground when he wanted attention, he'd bow his head for treats, and during parades, he walked with a strut that made people cheer. He was a showman, a giant who knew he was a star. We can't forget Prince, another Shire. Prince stood at 19.3 hands and was known across Europe for his elegance. Unlike some of the heavier drafts, Prince had a more refined frame, still tall, still powerful, but with lines that seemed drawn by an artist. He looked like a sketch come to life. His mane was braided for shows, his coat gleamed like polished leather, and every movement felt rehearsed. But nothing about him was fake. Prince didn't just look like royalty, he moved like it. Coming in next is Tower, a Percheron from Oregon, who earned his name for obvious reasons. Measuring exactly 19.2 hands, Tower was as vertical as horses come, but what made Tower unique was his agility. You'd think a horse that tall would move awkwardly, but Tower jumped logs, trotted through narrow trails, and even did low dressage. He was proof that height doesn't have to mean heavy. Then came Justice, another Clydesdale known for his record as the tallest horse in South America. He stood at 19.1 hands and had a personality as noble as his name. Justice was often used in police ceremonies, charity events, and children's therapy programs. People felt safe around him not just because he was big, but because he was kind. He had the look of a warrior but the heart of a guardian. And now, we reach our final giant. A horse so tall, so massive, that people often mistake videos of him for digital effects. Meet Titan, a Belgian stallion raised in Northern Europe who officially measures just under 21 hands. But it's not just the number, it's the way he carries it. Titan doesn't just walk, he moves the earth. His hooves send soft tremors into the ground, his muscles ripple with every step. His breath comes out like steam from a locomotive. And yet, he bows his head to children, lets birds land on his back, and stands patiently for hours during community events. Titan is more than just tall, he's myth made real. So there you have it, 15 of the tallest horses ever measured. On Earth, some broke records, some made history, others just made people stop, stare, and smile. But every one of them left something behind, a photo, a memory, a moment where someone looked up and realized just how majestic life can be. Which of these equine giants would you want to meet? Let us know in the comments below. And if you thought this list was amazing, wait till you see the video we've got coming next about the rarest horse breeds you've never heard of. You won't want to miss it.